Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Assalatu wassalamu ala ashraf al-anbiya wal mursaleen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am Dr. Abdul Aziz. Artificial intelligence, everybody knows about it. Many recent talks and articles are coming up about the artificial intelligence. So I will share with you some basic information about artificial intelligence, and I will try to compare it with the original intelligence, what is our brain, and how they differ and how they are changing the medical practice especially. As you all know, the artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science, and it pursues creating the computers or machines as intelligent as human beings. Artificial intelligence is accomplished by studying how human brain thinks and how humans learn, decide, and work while trying to solve a problem, and then using the outcome of this as a basis of developing artificial intelligent software and system. So as from this definition, it is clear that this all is motivated by studying the brain, how it functions and how it reacts to various problems. They are trying to develop the same thing in a machine or the computer so that it can do the job of a human being. While exploiting this power of the computer system, the curiosity of the human led him to wonder, can a machine think and behave like humans do? The importance of artificial intelligence in machine is because the knowledge, as you all know, is huge knowledge. So the scientists, they were trying to arrange this knowledge so that every person can access this knowledge as quickly as possible and as easily as possible. As quickly and as easily as possible. This artificial intelligence is now, if we come to the uses, it is used as a vision system also. It is used in aeroplanes and in various instruments for the warfare. Then the very important, everybody knows about the gaming. Artificial intelligence is used in the computer gaming also. And then natural language processing and speech recognition and handwriting recognition, as we all know by using the computer and mobiles. These things are based on artificial intelligence. Then robots also are improving because of the introduction of the artificial intelligence, and the idea of the robotics is not the new. It was started in almost 1923. Karel Capek's play named Rossum's Universal Robots. So this was the first thing where the name robot was used in English. And in 1950, Alan Turing said, can machine think? And then the journey of developing this artificial intelligence, improving it, and try to integrate in the robotics so that the robot can behave as much as possible like human beings. So in this regard, while addressing a crowd in the Japan Artificial Intelligence Experience in 2017, Data Robot CEO Jeremy Ashin began his speech by offering the following definition of how artificial intelligence is used today. Artificial intelligence is a computer system able to perform tasks that ordinarily require human intelligence. And many of these artificial intelligence systems are powered by machine learning. Some of them are powered by deep learning, and some of them are powered by very boring things like rules. This robotic system then improved. In 2016, the first robot citizen, a humanoid robot named Sophia, is created by Hanson Robotics and is capable of facial recognition, verbal communication, and facial expression, as similar as to humans. You all know in 2018, Google releases the natural language processing engine called BERT, and we are using it daily in computer system and mobile software. In 2018, Waymo launches its Waymo One service, allowing users throughout the Phoenix metropolitan area to request a pickup from one of the company's self-driving vehicles. And recently in 2020, Baidu releases its linear fold artificial intelligence algorithm to scientific and medical teams working to develop a vaccine during the early stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. The algorithm is able to predict the RNA sequence of the virus in just 27 seconds, 120 times faster than other methods. So this was the journey of the artificial intelligence and then its use in various fields, including robotics. So this was the artificial intelligence. Now I will try to compare it with the original intelligence which is gifted to us from our creator Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You all know the brain is the most complex part of human body. The 3-pound organ is the seat of intelligence, interpreter of senses, initiator of body movement, and controller of behavior, lying in its bony shell and washed by protective fluid. The brain is the source of all the qualities that define our humanity, and brain is the crown jewel of human body. Furthermore, the brain is one of the largest and the most complex organ in the human body. It is made up of more than 100 billion nerves that communicate in trillions of connections called synapses. And the basic unit of nervous system, as you all know, is the neuron. And the neuron is one of the longest surviving cell in human body. In total, there are about 86 billion neurons in the human body and almost 85 billion non-neurons in the brain. So you can imagine the complexity and the huge, big these billions of the cells arranged in a very small organ called brain, which is just a 3-pound in weight. For centuries, scientists and philosophers have been fascinated by the brain, but until recently, they viewed the brain as nearly incomprehensible. Now, however, the brain is beginning to relinquish its secrets. Scientists have learned more about the brain in the last 10 years than in all the previous centuries. And that is why the many people, they call 1990 as the 1990 as the decade of the brain. At the forefront of the research on the brain and the other elements of the nervous system is the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and the Storms. The brain is like a committee of experts. All the parts of the brain work together, but each part has its own special properties. The brain can be divided into 3 basic parts: forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain, and then there are many other medical terms. There are lobes of the brain. And each portion has specific and very complex functions. The brain and the rest of the system are composed of neurons, as I said, and they communicate with each other through electrical impulses through the neurons and also through the chemical reactions taking place at the synapses of the 2 neurons. So by this way, they communicate with each other in the brain, and they communicate with other parts of the body through these connections. And almost each and every cell of our body is connected through these branches of the minor branches of the nervous system. Broadly, very superficially, Brain has, as I said, has frontal lobe, and the frontal lobe is mainly concerned with personality, behavior, emotions, judgment, planning, problem solving, and speech, especially speaking and writing, and body movements, and intelligence, concentration, and self-awareness. The parietal lobe is concerned with that interpret the languages, word, it interpret the language, words, sense of touch, pain, temperature, interpret signals from vision, hearing, motor, sensory, and memory. And the occipital lobe mainly interpret the vision. And the temporal lobe is usually deals with understanding the language, memory, hearing, sequencing, and organization. Language and memory, these are among the most complex parts of the nervous system. After so much this research and many things which are coming up every year, still the scientists are unable to say that we know each and everything about the brain. Very recently, few months back, they discovered a new cell in the retina which is involved for the vision. And just last month, they found that a very complex system, they call it sense of smell, is our most rapid warning system. And from this they concluded that the ability to detect and react to the smell of a potential threat is a precondition of our survival. So using a novel technique, they found that human beings can, by the smell, they can predict that something very serious is going to happen. This is just assumption. It may, in the future, it may be proved as right or wrong, we cannot say. But what I want to say is that about the brain, human brain, after so much work and everything, huge work, still nobody can claim that we know each and everything about the brain, and that in future nothing will be new in this regard. So it is such a complicated organ which is difficult to comprehend. Now this system, artificial intelligence, which is creating huge interest and changing the life of the every field of the science, and particularly I can say you about the medicine, and especially in medical oncology, the artificial intelligence is used in radiology to detect any abnormal lesion in the body which is detected on the CT or on imaging by CT or MRI or simple X-ray. So the artificial intelligence, for example, there is a lesion on chest X-ray in the lung, and on CT also if there is a lesion, the radiology, by the help of the artificial intelligence, can diagnose if at all this lesion is malignant, and if it is malignant, what is the type of the malignancy. So this is the one of the branch, and possibly in future it may replace the radiologist. Another branch of is histopathology. As you all know, the histopathology usually today is seen by and interpreted by the histopathologist under microscope. But now, because of the artificial intelligence, they feed various characteristics of a particular slide, and with the help of this artificial intelligence can detect or diagnose whether this is a malignant or what is the type of the lesion, and even if it is a malignant, what is the type of the malignancy. So in future, you can say the artificial intelligence here is doing the job of a radiologist as well as a histopathologist. But many people, they agree that 100% artificial intelligence cannot replace a radiologist or an histopathologist, but of course it can decrease their workload. So this huge development affecting each and every branch of the science, now when we try to compare with the original intelligence which we have been gifted from our creator, that the brain. And I try to compare these two things, and you will agree with me that there is no comparison between artificial intelligence and the original intelligence, means the human brain and the nervous system of the human. So if we look at our creator how he created all these so complex and complicated things, and what he says about these his creation. So there are so many such ayat in Quran, but I will share with you few of them which most likely is pointing towards the complexity, authority, the greatness, and the exact planning, and by exact planning by time and by place of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who created such a complex thing in our body. And brain is of course one of the most complex system in our body. So in this regard, there is one from Surah 3 ayat number 4, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ, means surely we created man of the best stature. Means the creation of the humans is the climax of the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the best creation. And in another of ayat number 78 of Surah Mu'minun, possibly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pointing the same thing. He says, هو الذي أنشأ لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون. He it is who hath created for you ears and eyes and hearts. Small thanks give ye. In another ayat number 18 of Surah Nahl, Allah says, وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَغَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. And if ye would count the favor of Allah, ye cannot reckon it. Lo, Allah is indeed forgiving, merciful. So all from these ayat of the Quran, and if you keep in background artificial intelligence and the complexity and the nature of the huge neuron and the neuronal cell of the nervous system, you can realize that possibly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pointing towards the same thing, how he created and how he well estimated and organized is the human system. And if we want to count the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we cannot count his favors. In another similar ayah, from Surah Fussilat, ayat number 53, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقُّ أَوَلَمْ يَكْفِي بِرَبِّكَ أَنَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ شَهِيدٌ. Means, if we will show you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we will show you his signs around you as well as within yourself also, so that you know that what he created is true, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who created such complex things. And the last ayah, that how, as I told you, the human artificial intelligence, it evolved over a past around 100 years, from 1923 till now today. So it took almost 100 years to develop to the stage at which this artificial intelligence and robotics are there today. But as you know, it is far inferior than the original intelligence. But what about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he created this? Is there any proof of that? And there is one ayah in Quran which points towards this thing. This is ayat number 82 of Surah Yasin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّمَا أَمْرُهُ إِذَا أَرَادَ شَيْئًا يَقُولُ لَهُ كُن فَيَكُونُ. But his command when he intendeth a thing is only that he saith unto it, be, and it is. That means if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to create something, he simply says be, and it is there. There is no, maybe in the fraction of a second everything is there. So this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing his greatness and perfectness. And there is another last ayah of the Quran. This is from from Surah Rahman, ayat number 13. It has been repeated so many times in Surah Rahman. It says, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ, which is it of your favors of your Lord that ye deny. So this is the overall picture which I shared with you, the artificial intelligence, which scientists, they, after studying the brain, how it works, how it thinks, how it reacts, they started developing software and putting in the machine and computer so that it can do to some extent the job of a human being. And it has evolved over a past around 100 years, but still it is far inferior than the brain and its functions. And brain and other its nervous system is so complex that the top scientists who are working in this field, they say it is impossible to comprehend the human brain, and every year new things are coming up. And then if we see in the Quran what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about his creation, and I quoted few ayah from the Quran which are pointing towards this issue, that how great is Allah, how perfect he is, and how it is easy for him to create all these things which for us is so complicated. So the aim of this is only, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we recognize his favors and we should be thankful to him. And we can do this only by studying Quran, understanding, and then thinking over it, pondering over it. Only then we will be able to see all these things of Allah, gifts and these I will say miracles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala around us and within ourselves. Only then we will be able to recognize him, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a return for these favors, only he wants that we should be thankful to him. And if we are thankful to him, Allah promised that he will give more to them here and in the hereafter. And in the hereafter, when we will meet, and we all individually have to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give what we did in this life. And if we spend this life with his guidance, obeying his rules, and maybe there Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may forgive us and give us Jannah. And to get Jannah, this is one of the best gift for any human being. I hope in this, especially if there is any mistake in reading and translating ayah of the Quran, I ask forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I hope this message which I am trying to convey you, that we should recognize the greatness, the absolute authority of our Creator Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only then we will be thankful to him, and this is the only way we will be successful here, and the most important is in the hereafter. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.